The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Carol Kido Jr.
And I'm Jasmine Nero. Join me later in the Bulletin for Sports.
In this edition, East Sepik celebrates new modern hospital, NRI partners PNGDF with MOU, and hunters on buy. CPL Group recently launched its City Pharmacy Medical and Lab Supplies business in Ley Morbe Province with an event attended by medical professionals and industry partners. The brand provides quality sales and after-sales service of medical and laboratory equipment to support Papua New Guinea's emerging healthcare sector. All sales at CPMLs come with training and after-sales service provided by biomedical technicians. The company is well positioned to offer this support with over 30 years of experience in the pharmaceutical business and a strong network of quality suppliers around the world. State-of-the-art equipment have been fitted in the 210 million kina East Sepik Provincial Specialist Hospital that was opened on Monday, March 27th in Wewak. Built in 1961, the then Boram General Hospital had never been maintained or upgraded until over 5 decades later. East Sepik Provincial Health Authority CEO Matthew Kaluvia said that then Boram General Hospital was built by the colonial administration in 1961. Since 1961 to 2019, the hospital had never been maintained or upgraded.
The hospital physical infrastructure has deteriorated over the years, which hindered and impeded the effective health service delivery to the people of East Sepik. Since the appointment of late CEO Mr. Mark Malulu in 2014, he took up the immediate huge challenge of rehabilitating the entire hospital in terms of its physical infrastructure development under the guidance and chairmanship of Alan Bird. That was when the hospital was still under Provincial Hospital Board. Then in PHA Board in 2018 under the chairmanship of Mike McAlee. And today we are witnessing the fruitions of visions and efforts of these leaders, chairmen, board members, and of course our provincial administration team for this special facility that is donated.
The new hospital wing, which cost 210 million kina, was built by VAMED, a global provider for hospitals and other facilities in the healthcare sector. Describing the modern hospital as a dream come true for the people of East Sepik, Kaluvia said it also contains the most advanced medical equipment and will provide advanced health service delivery. State-of-the-art equipment have been fitted in the Accident and Emergency Department, Radiology Department, which CT scan, Mammography and Fluoroscopy Commander, and Obstetrics and Gynecology Department. The hospital also has 4 operating theatres.
Going to provide the state-of-the-art health services to our people, ophthalmology services, dentistry services, laboratory services, and etc. All for the people of East Sepik province and of course to those from other provinces who may want to seek our medical help and assistance in the province. This hospital is indeed something we all should be proud of. It's a great opportunity for the people of East Sepik who have come far and near to witness this achievement that can only be described as a dream come true.
The Employers Federation of Papua New Guinea says it is not aware of any sanctioned protest. The federation released a statement after the circulation of a stop work notice on social media asking employees not to go to work on Thursday, March 30th in protest of current economic issues. PNG Executive Director Florence Willie stated that they have not received any formal notice from the government agencies, including the Department of Labour and Industrial Relations, the Department of Personnel Management, or the Police Commissioner's Office on whether or not the protest was sanctioned or approved. Hence, are not aware of the trade union's involvement in this proposed stop work, in which case only union members would be allowed to vote for industrial action and seek approval from the Industrial Registrar's Office over industrial matters concerning terms and conditions of employment. Willie added that without meeting these requirements, any protest by workers, especially those in the private sector, would be deemed illegal as it is not approved and not sanctioned by mandated authorities. 10 students attending the University of Papua New Guinea and the PNG University of Technology have been awarded the Octedi Mining Limited's 2023 Undergraduate Scholarship Award scheme, totaling over 250,000 kina. These students are in their third year of studies and are pursuing various science and engineering courses. 10 students from the University of Papua New Guinea and University of Technology are recipients of the OTML 2023 Undergraduate Scholarship Award Scheme. 3 students are studying environmental science and geology at UPNG, while 7 are pursuing courses in applied physics, instrumentation, chemistry, civil engineering, electrical and communication engineering, mechanical engineering, mineral processing, and mineral engineering at Unitech. The 2023 batch of awardees comprises of 5 females and 5 males. The scholarship program is for 2 years and covers tuition fees, boarding and lodging, book allowances, travel assistance and stipend for this year. UPNG has received 49,200 kina and Unitech has received 204,000 kina, 781.44 Thoya.
The program will sponsor university students, will provide them with their field on-site work activities, and then if their grades are continually to be suitable, they will roll over into the graduate program after they graduate. In their third year they will be released, we will take them up at the site for their field site component of their training, and then in their final year, if they're successfully graduated, we will look at having them placed into the GDS program.
PML initiated the Undergraduate Scholarship Award Scheme to support high-performing students attending tertiary institutions in PNG. Ian Strachan, OTML Manager for Organizational Development and Training, said the program aims to assist third-year university undergraduates with school fees and other associated costs while ensuring an industry-institution relationship with respective universities that provide graduates into its training programs and workforce.
Octedi is a 100% PNG company, and we take much pride in looking at our young people being developed, and we spend a lot of effort into developing our workforce, who we know are human resources for this country, and so efforts we put in there we know go a long way to ensuring that our country continues to prosper.
The scholarship program also offers the awardees an opportunity to conduct their industrial training with OTML and sets a pathway for them to join the company's graduate development program after completing their studies. However, the scholarship program is subject to the students' academic performance in the first year of the scholarship, where they must maintain a grade point average of 3.5 or above to continue the scholarship for a second year. Pro Vice Chancellor Vincent Malaibe had this to say of the award program.
Student experience is critical for us. At the moment, schools are going through a review of their programs to make it relevant to the country's development, and also to make sure that students get knowledge in research skills that they would help them in their workplace. And I thank again Octedi and thank the media for coming for this beginning of that program.
Since its inception in 2007, the OTML Undergraduate Scholarship Program has been offered to 50 undergraduates. During the OTML Graduate Awards ceremony, third-year graduate in Earth Sciences Geology, L'Oreal Tape-Toror, on behalf of her colleagues, expressed sincere gratitude to Oktedi Mine Limited for the remarkable offer. She said being sponsored by Oktedi Mine is a significant opportunity for them and their families, as it provides crucial support for their education and future career pathways.
This opportunity will really challenge us to be more competitive in our studies. So we look forward to fostering a good relationship with Oktedi Mining. And also I'd like to extend a big thank you to our families and friends and to our lecturers, Prof. SB and his team. And not forgetting foremost our good Lord, for because through him and with him all of this is possible. So thank you so much.
A new provincial finance manager for Central Province has been appointed. Senior officials from the Department of Finance, Deputy Secretary Sam Phineas, district officers and Provincial Administrator Francis Coaba witnessed the occasion. The appointment of acting provincial financial manager Terence Myrie was revoked by the Department of Finance, and an appointment made for Wallace Imbal to the substantive position as provincial finance manager for Central. Phineas acknowledged Myrie for the time he has worked as the acting provincial finance manager, saying he has done extremely well on the job. He also reminded the incoming provincial finance manager of the importance of working with leaders to deliver what is expected from the provincial finance office. Myrie returns to his substantive position as provincial accountant within the provincial finance office. This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Open nets.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Rice. Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. When you believe in things, but you don't understand the nature. Superstition ain't the way.
Wherever you're watching from, welcome aboard. Joining us on satellite will be Stevie D. Oh, big hit there. It's got numbers on the outside, and Lucara goes in eventually. Oh, and they're claiming a try here, the Vipers. going inside ball. This is a beautiful try. This is champagne football here.
The most goals of any top European league. And to quantity adds quality.
This is brilliant. Oh, outstanding. That's the kind of goal you dream of scoring.
And that is outstanding. It is wonderful. Oh my word, what a finish. The chit is absolutely stunning.
Welcome back. On Monday, 27th March, NCD Governor Paus Pako promoted the potential of hashtag Amazing Port Moresby as a regional city and investment hub to CEOs of superannuation funds in the Pacific. He welcomed the CEOs attending the 2023 Pacific Islands Investment Forum in Port Moresby and highlighted the strategic location of the city in the Pacific region. Governor Pakop invited the CEOs to invest in the city and the Pacific region, emphasizing that the National Capital District Commission sees the super funds as strategic partners in making Port Moresby a truly national capital for PNG and a regional and global city. The forum will conclude on March 30th, 2023. As a registered brand, business and trademark Lava Girl is on the move in expanding in Fiji. During the announcement of Lava Girl's first ever runway show, Lava Girl Explosion Fashion Show, the company is now targeting the wider Pacific market. Manager and creative director Annette Sete stated that to date, Lava Girl has 6 shops, 3 of which are in Port Moresby, 2 in Kokopo and 1 in Madang. Sete added that her social media pages will see changes as some designs are going to target the Pacific market as well.
So we have recently gone into selling our products in Fiji. We sell into third party. We are selling at House of Mausio, which is another local Fijian designer. Michael's things are going to be carried in our shop here in Port Moresby as well. Fiji is interesting in that the support that we get or following that we get on social media, the numbers are as big as Port Moresby. So we are able to sell, like we had cargoes going there that we sold out in a week. We have requests that are coming in from Fiji, almost every day. It's just the logistics of getting things out to Fiji is a nightmare because the freights are killing us and all that. So we're still finding our way around it, but we're still getting products there.
To commemorate World Water Day 2023, an awareness was conducted at the Tatana and Baruni Primary School by the Motukia International Terminal in partnership with Motu Koita Assembly and Water Aid PNG. The awareness was to inspire actions to tackle water and sanitation crisis in the local communities. Representatives from MIT, MKA and Water Aid PNG presented on the importance of water and sanitation and how students can conserve water at home and in school. 150 wash packs were donated to the schools with cleaning detergents and sanitizers. Students and teachers from schools acknowledged the donations and provided positive feedback on the awareness. The PNG National Research Institute today entered into an agreement through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the PNG Defence Force. The MOU provides a framework for the Research Institute and PNGDF to collaborate in areas of mutual interest that affect the development of Papua New Guinea.
PNG Defence Force Commander Major General Mark Goina today became the country's first commander to visit the PNG National Research Institute at Waigani in Port Moresby. The occasion, the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Research Institute and the country's Defence Force.
The MOU that will be signed today provides a framework for PNG NRI and PNG DF to collaborate in areas of mutual interest that affect the development of our country, Papua New Guinea. These areas include, which are captured in the MOU, socio-economic issues that have security and defense implications, research and development, including conducting joint research between PNG NRI and PNG DF, and training and staff exchange. So from the Institute,
The understanding paves the way forward for a collaborative approach for research efforts that add value to the work of the Research Institute and the country's defense force.
PNGDF simply cannot fulfill its core task and responsibilities. The welfare of our citizens is something that resonates very clearly with both organizations. As such, the step that we have taken to formalize a MOU is a significant achievement, as it provides for a collaborative approach in effort areas that allows both organizations to touch the lives of our people.
Present to witness the occasion were members from both organizations. Instrumental in bringing to life the partnership, Dr. Francis Odhuno of the Economic Research Program and Captain Peter Tupma of the PNG Defense Force. Mary Stella Kellerton, TVWAN News.
Infrastructure support is ongoing in the autonomous region of Bougainville. ABG Minister for Community Government Theonila Metbob said this in her maiden ministerial statement yesterday in the first session of the Bougainville House of Representatives. She said the support is continuing under an Australian government-funded program involving the construction of 19 community government offices and community halls. This will provide community governments and wards with functional spaces for elected women and men to exercise leadership and administrative duties, including other local activities. Minister Metbob further acknowledged the challenges that exist in the Ministry and Department for Community Government and committed to working proactively to address them. She vowed to work closely with the administration to empower the existing workforce right down to the ward levels and village assemblies, because regardless of efforts to change the system, it will not work if the organizational culture is not addressed. The Pacific Island Investment Forum, hosted by the National Superannuation Fund and Number One Super Limited in Port Moresby, began on March 27th and will conclude on March 30th. The PIF has over 20 members with more than $75 billion in assets under management, of which over $16 billion of those investments are within the Pacific, representing more than 1.6 million contributing members. The event has brought together heads of superannuation funds from across the Pacific region to discuss issues of common interest, provide a forum for dialogue, support the educational needs of member organizations, and promote investment and co-investment opportunities. Damien Beddoes is the CEO of Cook Islands National Superannuation Fund and was the first chairman for the Pacific Island Investment Forum when they hosted in 2018. He currently serves as the Secretariat to support the board and drive the initiatives of the board. The PIF has over 20 members with more than $75 billion in assets under management, of which over $16 billion of those investments are within the Pacific, representing more than 1.6 million contributing members. According to Mr. Beddoes, the PIF almost disappeared into the history books in 2015. The group needed to find its place and its purpose for its members and its place in the region. It took a special person, a leader like Ian Tarutia, to bring life back into the group and support its rebirth. Ian backed Mr. Beddoes and others to do a lot of groundwork to reform and reorganize themselves, and Ian's leadership was crucial in keeping the Pacific and their funds together.
Here, an amazing Port Moresby, the Lagatoi, the traditional trading canoe of the Motuan people of this area, is a representation of what we do as investors. Meeting with other countries, other funds, sharing investment opportunities. Well, Ian, we, as the members of the Pacific Island Investment Forum, we want to recognise the enormous contribution you have made to your fund.
PIF offered Ian a gift as recognition of his contributions and appointed him as chairman of the PIF during the AGM held that afternoon. They also established the Pacific Island Investment Forum alumni for the first time and asked Ian to become their first member to ensure his leadership and skills are not lost to them and the Pacific. 2,000 locals from Kavianga in the Middle Fly district of Western Province participated in the Octedi Development Foundation Rice Livelihood Project. The rice project is worth 3.8 million kina and is funded through a Papua New Guinea-Australia Partnership Incentive Fund grant which supports women groups and families to trial rice production for consumption and commercial purposes. The incentive fund has opened doors for equal participation and engagement of people with disabilities in all activities so they can benefit from improved livelihood and economic opportunities. 20 project participants, including 10 women, were trained on the rice farming cycle to ensure long-term sustainability of project activities. The first successful rice harvest under Octedi Development Foundation project was celebrated on 27th August 2022. You're watching TV1 News. Stay tuned for news around the region after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bunyamyumi.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plan alapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus shred. Should I try them on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
Here we go. 2-point field goal attempt from Cleary. He's done it. Nathan Cleary sends us to golden point. Shield on the burst. Can he finish? Yes, he can. Inside the set play from the Eagles. Cripps, the finish from the tightest of angles. Here's Caminiti. Kicks long. Crowd will tell a story. Bingo. Over the top to the speedster. Rowan gets on his bike. Run and jump. Long, long range. Wow. What about that?
Welcome back. Following the devastating impacts of Tropical Cyclone Judy and Cyclone Kevin in Vanuatu, the Pacifica Medical Association Group will be deploying a medical assistance team to the island nation, supported by the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. The 28-day mission will see the emergency team provide primary care and mental health support to the local community affected by the recent cyclone. The team traveled today with New Zealand Foreign Minister Nanaia Mahuta. PMA CEO Debbie Debbie Sorensen said the PACMAT team will be made up of primary care and mental health specialists experienced in emergency response. Sorensen said this specific health care for communities on the ground is needed because homes have been damaged and everyday life disrupted. She added that the PACMAT team is ready to serve, especially during times of crisis, where it is important to help those who need the support. The federal government's quarantine facility on Melbourne's northern fringe was plagued by violence and police call-outs while it was being used to house flood victims last year. Staff reported 26 incidents at the Mickleham Centre over 7 weeks, including family violence.
This temporary village at Elmore is home, for now, for Joseph Bibero, while his flood-damaged cabin at Rochester is repaired. He's grateful for the help.
Best country in the world.
Until recently, Joe was living about 2 hours away at the federal government's quarantine facility at Mickleham, the Centre for National Resilience. It was opened as a refuge for flood victims like Mr Bibero last October, but he says things deteriorated.
I think there was a lot of drugs involved. You'd hear the arguing, the fighting, the swearing.
Incident reports from the Mickleham Centre released to the ABC under Freedom of Information laws show staff reported 26 incidents in 7 weeks. They include family violence, residents threatening each other, police call-outs and drug use. Police charged a woman with trafficking hallucinogenic drugs after staff found drug-making equipment at the centre in January. The head of Emergency Recovery Victoria says some people pretended to be flood victims to access the centre.
I wouldn't say, they were gaming the system, because you have to be in a pretty hard place to go and stay at a centre like the National Resilience Centre if you had somewhere suitable and safe to live to start with.
Ms Diaz says as the flood waters rose, people needed somewhere to go fast, and checking their credentials had to wait.
I would hope that next time we'd have the support set up very, very quickly so we could start that vetting process pretty much on the ground very, very quickly.
The stark difference between the Elmore and Mickleham centres may lie in their design. The Mickleham Centre is hours from here and it was purpose-built to isolate people in quarantine. The Elmore Centre was built with community input and it's close to where those who are flood affected live. Experts say keeping people together as a community near their homes is crucial.
This is where you build social capital and support each other. That's the number one support mechanism.
That's been the case for Barbie Walker, who's living at Elmore while her Rochester unit, 20 minutes away, is being repaired.
I give it full marks for what they're doing to help people here.
But in August, the centre will close, whether homes are rebuilt or not. Emergency Recovery Victoria says it will support everyone here to find accommodation if their home isn't ready to return to.
He has one of the capital's most dangerous jobs, but one local snake catcher claims it's animal welfare laws that really must be handled with care. His push to give licensed handlers more than 2 days to treat injured reptiles has attracted some political support.
Snakes in politics could almost be a Canberra cliche, but it took on a new, very literal meaning at the ACT Legislative Assembly in an effort to educate and persuade.
Unfortunately, a lot of eastern brown snakes under the current legislation are injured with things that can be treated and healed, having to be released or euthanized before that treatment is given because I'm not lawfully allowed to do that.
I think the regulations do need to change now to assist Gavin and others in the community that are doing this hard work and have been for many years now.
Gavin Smith is one of only a handful of people in the bush capital licensed to handle venomous snakes, and this year alone he's caught, removed and released 170 that have slithered into suburbia. That's a challenging job in itself, but compounded by the 30-year-old Animal Welfare Act, which considers the cohort unlicensed carers and affords just 48 hours with injured snakes. And that's a whopping 70% of his serpentine clients.
I need, with the experience I've got and the skills I've got under veterinary supervision, to be able to administer that care.
After that time, the reptile must be released, euthanised or taken to a vet. But many clinics don't allow venomous snakes on the premises, and the one that welcomes them has plenty of other patients.
There's a huge demand for vet care for unusual pets, and
non-traditional pets, I suppose.
Dr Gresh thinks the proposed legislative change is warranted.
So you do need to have a lot of extra knowledge that is quite different to your usual vet knowledge.
There's a range of options from education to legislative reform. We're really excited about this conversation.
Public servants and serpents finding common ground.
New Zealand's government has confirmed it is discussing joining the non-nuclear part of the AUKUS alliance founded by Australia, the UK and US. New Zealand Defence Minister Andrew Little indicated they will be willing to explore it. It comes a week after New Zealand's Foreign Minister Nanaia Mahuta visited top Chinese diplomats who raised concerns at the military tie-up between Australia, the UK and the US, which is centred on Australia receiving a nuclear-powered Navy submarines. A second pillar to the three-part deal covers the sharing of advanced military technologies. New Zealand has not been offered the chance to join Pillar 1, nor would it accept due to its anti-nuclear position. Minister Little said any AUKUS membership could not compromise New Zealand's legal obligations and moral commitment to nuclear-free. New Zealand has other concerns about AUKUS, including that it may jeopardize the Treaty of Rarotonga, which designates large areas of the Pacific free of nuclear weapons. 3 years ago, one of the most remote primary schools in Australia had just 3 students, and parents were worried it would close permanently. So the tiny community of Stonehenge near Longreach in Western Queensland started a school bus run to attract station kids who were learning online.
A school bus going the extra mile for its community. In the outback town of Stonehenge, getting a school bus service into gear in 2020 opened doors for local kids. For years, the Laidler family on Kapakai Station, 100 kilometres north of town, juggled running a sheep property and distance education for their 4 girls.
We couldn't find a governess to teach 4 kids. They're pretty hard to come by. So it was me, and then, my husband works away 70% of the time, so I need to be able to get outside. So when I was teaching, I couldn't do both.
So when the possibility arose, the Laidlers seized the opportunity to send their kids to school on the bus, even if it meant still having to drive 30 kilometres down their driveway to get to their stop.
So the bus run is vital. And I mean, the bus run's vital to keep the school going too, I think, because there's only 2 children not on the bus run.
It was initiated by the principal at the time to run a pilot bus program using a Barcoo Shire Council bus.
And here's the 3 precious cargoes more.
From humble beginnings, the pilot succeeded in luring in new students from nearby stations. As you can see, the bus has been a success, with school enrolments jumping from 3 to 17 since the service started in 2020. And none of these country kids seem to mind the 150-kilometre round trip each day. Yay! But as the dedicated group behind the bus found, it wasn't easy finding the right driver in the tiny town of less than 50 people. 66-year-old grandmother from Warwick, Deb Porter, decided to give it a crack.
Regardless of how one might be feeling, you've got to get up and go. And as you're getting older, mature age as they call us, it's nice to have that feeling that you're needed and that you're doing something that's helping somebody.
It's an approach working for these students, where a 2-hour round trip to school is worth celebrating.
Analysis from Victoria's Independent Infrastructure Advisor has found Middle Melbourne is unaffordable to households on an average income. Infrastructure Victoria is calling on the state government to do more to create good quality housing in Melbourne's established suburbs.
Larissa Stradala and Doi Panhalder moved to a new estate in Melbourne's Outer West 3 weeks ago. They love the parkland, but the area wasn't their first choice.
Originally looking at established areas, we soon realised that basically we were being priced out of the market.
Our research shows that new home buyers are locked out of middle and inner Melbourne.
Analysis from Infrastructure Victoria found a household on a moderate income of $132,000 a year can't afford to buy anything in inner Melbourne. They could afford a unit in some parts of middle Melbourne, but would have to go to the growth areas to afford a townhouse or a house. Across outer suburban Melbourne, paddocks like this are being replaced with houses to meet the needs of a growing population. And the same thing is happening in major regional centres like Geelong and Ballarat. It's putting a massive strain on infrastructure. But Infrastructure Victoria found 20% of new homeowners would trade a bigger house for affordable medium-density housing in an established suburb. Something like Elizabeth's place in Brunswick.
I commute into work on a bike and school on a bike, so everything is within easy access. And if you're not on a bike or it's raining, we've got tram stops right there.
In order to increase this type of housing, Infrastructure Victoria wants the government to phase out stamp duty and the first homeowner grant, set targets for homes in established suburbs, streamline approvals for homes that meet better housing standards.
Making sure that there are clear standards of the quality of design and the appearance of townhouses.
Planning experts want more input from local communities.
Simply setting some building design standards and then letting them rip throughout the suburbs is a recipe for conflict and dissension.
As the city continues to grow, we have to make sure that we're continuing to provide housing options, job opportunities closer to particularly public transport connections.
And that ends the news segment. Taking us to the break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. You're watching TV1 News. Sports News is next with Jasmine Iru.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus thread. Should I try him on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
It's the fabric of our state. A state bound by one dream, one colour, one team.
And the battle resumes. Right on the money. It's on in the back plane. It's on. There are punches. The Magic Man from Newcastle.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
makes the in ball at pace and will score.
Now, Patadillo out on the far side. Races on here. Enor's fast. Enor got it down. Oh, straight pace.
Wow, wow.
Before we get underway tonight, I just want to say, what are you looking for in a woman? It's you've got to help. Oh, right. You've got to help. Yeah. And it's going to be a massive year on Fox League.
Just starting to bubble up. Here's the lead. Oh, solid kick. Can't stop the powerhouse from Papua New Guinea.
I feel more alive now than I ever felt.
That's all very well, but what are we going to do about him?
Celebrate 100 years, 100% blood, sweat and tears, 100% love from Hollywood, 100% movies, you know you should. 100%, yeah, 100%, yeah. 100%, yeah. 100.
Welcome back. FIFA's compensation paid to clubs that release players for the Men's World Cup has been increased by nearly 70% to $355 million for the 2026 and 2030 tournaments, the global soccer governing body and the European Club Association said on Monday. The club benefits program affords clubs a share of national team competition revenues in return for releasing players and also protects clubs in case their players are injured on international duty. The previous amount earmarked for the 2018 and 2020 World Cups was $209 million. A renewed memorandum of understanding was signed on Monday at the ECA General Assembly in Budapest, Hungary. Earlier this month, FIFA had announced a 32-team club World Cup will be played every 4 years from June 2025, replacing its annual competition, which featured 7 teams. The decision was met with opposition, but the MOU will now have both FIFA and the ECA working together on its various sporting and commercial aspects for the 2025 edition. FIFA also announced a newly structured international calendar, which is President Gianni Infantino said had been endorsed by the ECA. Infantino said it provides the necessary balance between club and national team football. One of the most intense and fierce weeks of the Host Plus Cup season is here, as teams gear up for the 4x rivalry round. With Tweed set to host Burleigh Townsville coming up against the Pride in Cairns and Redcliffe on Wynnum Manly going head-to-head, plus a number of other blockbuster matches. The stage is set for an enticing weekend of footy. This week and next week, the Hunters are on bye after hosting Brisbane Tigers here in Port Moresby. It was a close game with the Hunters losing 36-38 to the visitors. Hunters are 9th on the ladder with Tigers in 10th place. The round 3 team of the week began with Hunters fullback Moria. Moria has been on fire for the opening rounds of the season. In round 3 in Port Moresby, Moria scored a hat-trick of tries, assisted in 1 try, kicked 3 from 4 conversions, registered 161 run meters, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, and 7 tackle breaks. North's Devils skipper Jack Ahern was also strong with 1 try, 1 try assist, 1 line break, and 2 tackle breaks. Here are the highlights of Moria's performance.
Catch him! Moria, you're a superstar!
back now to Morocco. Back to Morea. Morea. There's the hat trick. 3.
Before we go, this week at the International Seabed Authority headquarters in Kingston, Jamaica, negotiations to agree on a mining code was underway at the authority's 28th council meeting. If adopted, the mining code would give deep-sea mining the go-ahead, opening oceans to the largest mining operation humanity has ever seen.
The negotiations of a mining code at the International Seabed Authority's 28th Council meeting have faced increased scrutiny in the face of the multiple risks surrounding the industry. There is now a greater number of observer organizations calling for a stop. Negotiations so far have seen Vanuatu officially join the call for a precautionary pause on the industry, encouraging fellow Pacific states who have expressed an interest in deep-sea mining to step back from the brink and join in a precautionary approach as a region and as a world. During negotiations, Spain, the Federated States of Micronesia, Germany, France, Palau, Fiji, and Panama also echoed their support for a precautionary pause or moratorium to the industry. Campaigners and Pacific activists arrived at the meeting on the Greenpeace ship Arctic Sunrise, bringing indigenous voices from across the Pacific to negotiations. Indigenous delegates have highlighted a lack of social license for the industry to go ahead throughout the meeting, a lack of consideration of the cultural value of the deep, and a lack of consideration of indigenous and traditional knowledge. The Alliance of Solwara Warriors Jonathan Mesulam also highlighted the vital importance of free, prior informed consent during negotiations, warning of the realities of deep-sea mining from experience in Papua New Guinea. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
And that wraps up the news tonight. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you, Jazz. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.